welcome to my channel. My name is Elizabeth and today I'm taking you on my trip from Utrecht to Rotterdam as part of my 2-day biking trip to the coast of the Netherlands. As this is my first bike trip where I'm also going to camp on my own, I will share this experience with you and share some tips as well. If after watching this video you also want to share some tips or you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Okay, now let's get on the bike. I'm leaving from Utrecht and the weather is much better than it was the last time when leaving Utrecht, when biking to Amsterdam. Instead of a lot of rain, now the sky is blue and the weather is sunny, which makes biking a lot more fun. Okay, let's go to the first interruption of this trip for something I learned on the way. A disclaimer here, some of these interruptions may be very obvious to you, but I just wanted to share all the experiences I had on this trip. One thing I learned from this experience is that it's just really nice to arrive at the campsite a couple hours before it gets dark, because then you not only can just set up your tent in daylight, of course, but it's also nice to not feeling the stress of the sun going down and you need to set up your tent and also prepare some food. Especially in this case, because there wasn't any light at my picnic table place. So yeah, it was just really nice to cook and don't have to worry about not being able to see anything. Now let's go back to the bike. As you will see, this trip I meet a lot of different animals. Starting with these sheep, which apparently are afraid of me. I also met a lot of cows. Another thing I experienced on this trip is that I like to have all my bags in my tent. And I saw some bikers that have their bags on their bike also while sleeping, and I don't feel really comfortable with that. So that makes that my tent is a little bit more crowded than it could be, of course, if I just put the bags I don't use on my bike. But I just love to have my stuff in my tent. After some beautiful kilometers in the sun, the sky became gray again and there was so much wind. As you will see when I'm arriving at the campsite, this camping in Rotterdam has some picnic tables available for people like me on the bike who don't have a table with them. And this is really a plus for me because then you can just chill there when you're not doing something. You don't have to lay in your tent the whole time. And it's also really nice for cooking. So I would really recommend searching for campsites that have these options. So far the ride has been good. It's not raining, which is amazing. Okay, this needs some context if you haven't seen my video of me biking to Amsterdam, because on that trip I got soaked 3 times because of the rain. It's very windy though, but also very sunny, so I like it. Yeah, future me can say that his positive attitude towards the wind is going to change a lot. And then it's time for apple pie, because I really needed some sugar after biking in the wind for such a long time. And now I'm having another small break with this beautiful view. I love crossing canals, and after I got off the boat, I biked through this really cute village. I also saw a lot of ducks this trip. Here are just a few of them. At this point, I still enjoyed the trip, but I also felt that my legs were very tired because of the heavy wind. The fourth tip is to check before you arrive at the campsite if there is any supermarket or restaurant close by. Because, believe me, if you have biked all day long and you arrive at the campsite and you find out that you have to get back on your bike to find a supermarket 20 minutes away, then you're not happy. However, if you already know in advance that there is not a supermarket or a restaurant close by the campsite, then you can already buy some food on your route, which saves you a lot of time and a lot of worries when you're arriving. As you can see, I'm approaching Rotterdam. And there I am biking through the beautiful streets of Rotterdam. Here I'm passing by het Hofplein. And here I'm arriving at the central station. From here on, I bike further to my campsite for the night. And in doing so, I cross some really nice parks and also the zoo, which is called Blijdorp, and it's a very nice zoo to visit when visiting Rotterdam. And there I am, and honestly I'm really happy that I made it. Now I just chill for a second and then make my tent ready and find some food. Here I went to the reception and they said I could just find a spot by myself, so that's what I did. So now it's time to set up my tent, and I'm doing that for the first time here. First I put up the inner tent and then I put the outer tent over it. The last, and for me I think the most important lesson I learned on this trip is about the sleeping situation. I liked my tent. It was a tent for 2 persons and it fitted me and my bags perfectly. But I wasn't prepared for the cold temperatures at night. So that was a problem for me because it was that cold that I just couldn't sleep. I think I only slept for 2 hours and I was freezing. So my tip is, if you know that you're getting cold quite fast, as I am, then really have a good pajama to get you through the night comfortably, because if you don't have a good night's sleep and you have to get back on your bike the next day, you're not happy. Yeah. That's all I want to say. And as you can see, I first put the outer tent upside down, so I recover it after. I then attach the pegs to the ground and then the tent is finished. Of course, as you can see, I speed up the process of setting up my tent. Overall, it took me around 15 minutes, so that's not too bad for the first time. And then it's time to set up the inside of the tent. After finishing the tent, I shortly go and see the horses beside my tent, but yeah, I like horses, but they didn't like me. I just took a shower, which is really nice because now I'm feeling fresh again after such a long back day. And now I'm sitting in my tent. I give you a little tour. Here's my bed and my towel is hanging, a little lamp, some stuff, and there's plenty of room for my stuff here and also to sit, which is really nice. And this is my view. And then it was time to visit a supermarket to get some food. And I decided to have a detour going to the supermarket and walking through the Park, which is a really nice park close by the camping. The park was beautiful and therefore a recommendation to visit if you are staying nearby. When I was preparing for this bike trip, I saw this ready-made meal, which made me very curious. So I decided to bring it on this tour and try it out. But because I wasn't that sure if it was actually tasteful, I also decided to bring some food from the supermarket in case I didn't like the ready-made meal. Yes, because it was still quite windy also on the campsite, it took me a while to get the gas burner on, so that's what you see here. As I was using such a gas burner for the first time by myself, I didn't know how long it would take to boil the water, so I constantly looked if the water was already boiling. Very impatient. As you can see here on my face, I wasn't so sure if I would like the meal, so we'll see. The description of the ready-made meal only said that you should add boiled water and then stir it and wait for around 8 minutes. So we'll do that and then we'll see how it turns out. And yes, it's me again checking the water, but then finally the water is boiling. So I'm adding the water to the ready-made meal and stir it. So here you see how it looks right after I added the water. And here you see it after 8 minutes. And as you can see, it changed quite a bit. The texture changed a lot. So now I will taste it and try out if it's nice. Honestly, it wasn't that bad, but I also didn't really like it. If there was, for example, no supermarket close by, so it was kind of the only option to have a meal, then I would definitely finish it, yeah. But in this case, I ate half of it because I also had like fresh normal food, which I preferred more. So if you know you are gonna bike in a more remote place, then having one like in your bag is, I think, a good idea. Yeah, I think I would do that, but yeah, it's not like fresh meal, of course. After I finished half of my ready-made meal and also my fresh food, thankfully, I prepared the next day the trip to the coast, which you can see more of in the next video. I went to bed and hoped for a good night of sleep. That was it for this video. Thank you for watching, and if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. In the next video, I will share the second day of the trip to the coast, and I can already say things are getting pretty tough on the second day. So, see you in the next video. It's now